Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
I'm Antis.
and today we are doing a quick video on the countdown to Superman is finally over at time of recording and should be releasing. It is coming out tomorrow. We have our tickets to go see it. Mantis, are you excited?
I'm ready. I'm been reading through all these reviews, or I say reading. I've been glancing at them because I don't want to get any spoilers in there, as you so reminded me of before we started this video. Um, I'm ready. We've done videos. So I mean, how many videos have we done on this? Like the movie. I mean, it's got to be in the 20s.
Oh, it's probably at least, from the time we started when the movie first, started
Uh-huh.
filming and everything else like that. And guys, we're not even going to do an intro into this one just because there's no point in having that extra. We're just rolling straight on through it. So while we're not pausing, but yeah, we've done quite a few videos and we've tracked everything from the original suit pick reveal that went so poorly online to the
Hmm.
Kent farm that also went poorly online to the first trailers and everything in between. And now we are finally here. Now I know for those who bought the ticket through Amazon that there was that partnership. You got to go see it. It was in select areas that you could go see the movie in your local theater a couple of days early. And there's been a lot of reaction videos. I have not watched any of them. I've not watched anything where somebody says they're discussing the Superman movie because obviously we've got our tickets to go see it tomorrow. We will be doing a review / discussion on it afterwards. There will be heavy spoilers. We'll go ahead
There will
and
be.
just say that at the very beginning of that video as well, just to kind of let know our thoughts and what the parts that we liked about it, maybe some things we would have liked to see different. However, in this video, I want to kind of go over leading up to it, right? Some of the last minute concerns, plus adding with the reviews, and just kind of discuss that, Mantis. So, do you kind of want to kick us off where we at with the
Yeah.
ratings and reviews so far? Let's start with the Rotten Tomato rating because that's actually kind
Yeah.
of exciting.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomato. I mean, hopefully everybody knows Rotten Tomato at this point. Right now it is trending because I had to update our document that we do for the videos because it literally changed from when I took a screenshot to when we jumped on the call to do this recording. But currently, it's sitting at 82% on the fresh tomato meter, and then 96% hot on popcorn meter. Which, if those of you are not aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cal, the tomato meter are critic reviews and the popcorn meter is verified audience reviews.
Correct.
Okay. And I know if you guys are interested, if you go to Rotten Tomato and click on those, there are different filters where you can change it from verified reviews or verified reviewers to just all reviews, because anyone with an account can just put whatever they want in there and rate it. And it is factored in on some of those things. So if you're interested in that, you can change those. However, it is, man. I mean, we had our reservations, and I don't particularly like taking Rotten Tomato scores as the end all be all for if a movie's good or not. We've done several we've done several videos on things that don't line up as the critics say the movie's awful, but we saw it and it was great, vice versa. So,
We've also done several videos on that as well. Now, the one thing we did talk about in that video is when the audience and critic review scores are really close, usually it's that way, right? So if
yes.
the audience scores bad and the critic scores bad, it's usually bad, or vice
Yeah.
versa. This has a
Yeah.
pretty it was a lot higher. The critic review scores dropped a bit, but the audience score is still staying strong. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I feel like it's one of the highest rated DC movies as far as its score. Now I know
Currently.
they
Yeah.
said, yeah, with like 91% was The Dark Knight or something like that. I don't know from what I was reading on I didn't see whether that was the audience score or the critic score, but if
Yeah,
it's
I guess I could
audience,
look that up
if
real
it's
fast.
audience, then this one's topping everything right now. Now, granted, it's not even set to technically release yet until tomorrow, so that score can drastically change.
Well,
But
hold on.
while he is looking that up for us here, the one thing I will say is, again, we've talked about it many, many times. It's a different telling of Superman. But, I was going back through because I'm like, okay, the movie's getting ready to come out. I'm going to watch all of the Superman movies to lead up to this, right? So I've been going back through the other ones. I'll stop right there. Mantis, what do you got?
Yeah, so again, this was from Film Updates yesterday. I found this tweet that you had referenced. The Dark Knight is at 94%, Wonder Woman was at 93%, and Superman is at 91%. Those are the top three DC movies, and that is for the tomato meter. So that's critic reviews.
So it's dropped a bit since on here. But I'll say this real quick, and then we'll get on into the one thing I noticed though. I get they're completely different tellings, though, guys. Is that in this movie we've seen that with the trailers, we see a lot of him saving the little guys, right? Actually going and saving the girl from getting smashed by the pipes, saving the woman that's on the freeway and he's holding up that building that the kaiju's knocked over, saving the dog from getting stepped on by the kaiju, right? That's all very, very Superman like in the original Superman movie when he saves the cat from the tree and gives it to the little girl. Whereas in Man of Steel, because I just watched it again, now granted I've seen the movie plenty of times, but I was just watching it again, I'm like, there's the part where Zod kicks the truck at him and he just floats up above it and the tanker truck, and it hits the parking garage behind him and blows up. I mean, collapses the thing. And I'm like, Superman wouldn't do that, right? He's going to protect, because there could have been people in there. And then there's the part even in Batman v Superman when the people are sitting on their house and they painted the Superman symbol. If you actually watch the scene, they're moving in real time. He's just floating above them. Like he's trying to be God, right? He's just floating above them. I'm like, dude, because you can see your hair blowing in real time. It's not like it's slowed down, or it's not slowed down much if it is. And I'm like, how about save him? And then with Zod, you could have just gone up with Zod.
Yeah, he could have gone straight up. Obviously, he should have gone straight up.
Right? You could have turned his head. You could have covered his eyes. There was a lot of things you could do, right? The way he portrayed Superman is not the way Superman normally is. But here's the thing. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I still love the movie.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, I agree.
That didn't keep me from hating, or that didn't keep me from loving his portrayal of Superman, because it was different. It was cooler. It was more, gritty, more... Thank you, Thor. He thought the same thing. So for a lot of people to be, because that's what we're going to talk about here in a minute, to be going on about, it's too childish and to this, that's Superman. Because even David Cornswet talks about wearing the trunks, right? And says, they debated up to the day of filming on whether they were going to do trunks. And he's like, you know what? I like it, the idea of it, because it makes Superman realize he's not this all powerful God. He can look a little ridiculous sometimes. That kind of makes him a little more human. Right. So people got to understand, it's just two completely different tellings of the character, and it doesn't make one bad and the other one good. They both can be good at the same time, just in two different ways. So
we've discussed, and I think we've been pretty open about that. Our stance on who we like as far as our the favorite Superman movie. I think we're you guys should know that now, if you've watched the channel at all. And I'm open as well. It's I'm with you. I'm ready for something new, and this is going to be new. And I'm ready for something that is more in line with what I'm reading in the comic books. And this is more in line with what Superman from a comic standpoint would do. Not the absolute Superman. Let's be clear on that. But
although that's, if you haven't been following the absolute stuff, not only that we're doing, but reading the comics, go do it.
Yes, very, very. It's a completely different retelling of the superheroes. In fact, a lot of them are in this film. Different way of their how they grew up and everything. Anyway, so basically, some of the critic stuff, and even some like you, I had kind of stayed away from YouTube yesterday. Today, I could be wrong, but I think today was one of the early releases for the Amazon. Like you said, we had a theater near us that we could have gone and watched it in, and we decided to kind of forego that and wait until we could get to a different theater that are kind of closer to where we're located. We had no issue getting tickets, which could be a good thing or bad thing. To be fair, we did get them like a week and a half ago or something like that. So I'm not taking that as any indication of our sales numbers. But what I will say is that could have affected, like I said, the popcorn meter at this point, 2,500 plus verified ratings. That was even lower yesterday because of that embargo. Only mostly critics or people that had snuck in to randomly see the movie at some point or whatever. But I'm pretty sure today was the day that Amazon Prime. So we'll start to see those today, which is Thursday. And then tomorrow, obviously, this number is going to change drastically. You probably won't see the critic meter change too much, but
usually that's out of the way before,
yeah.
before
But I would expect that popcorn meter to come down as well. I don't think it's going to stick at 96% where it's at right now. Which again, hey, look, it could be worse. It could be down in the 70s with both of these. And some of the critic reviews that I read, I didn't read any of the verified rating reviews or anything like that, because people like that tend to give away plot points in their synopsis and their reviews. So I didn't want to read any of that. But from like, for instance, from the Chicago Tribune, some of the consensus on this was noting that Snyder's movies were opulent, referring to obviously Zack Snyder, Superman, which you just talked about, Man of Steel. And again, this is nothing new for anyone that's watched our channel, but there is this online beef going on between gun haters, Zack Snyder lovers, gun lovers. There's all it's some weird like Jerry Springer shit on the internet right now. But either way, this review is noting that while Snyder's movies were reverent, Gunn makes the heroes feel smaller and humbled. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think realistically, the way I read that, hopefully that is indicating that there is room for these characters to grow. As well as, again, unlike Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, there are multiple superheroes in this film. Characters, a lot of them that that people watching this may not know their origins, where they came from, or even what they do. There's probably cameos in this that we don't even know are in there yet, which I'm hoping there are.
Michael Rosenbaum's a cameo.
So yeah. So I didn't know that. Really?
He's one of the voices of the robots.
Oh, okay.
He's the main robot. Yeah,
that's cool.
Did you see the new Guy Gardner with Nathan Fillion, where the thing where the little short they put out with a clip of him?
I don't think so.
He's talking to Lois, and she's talking about them finding out his identity, whatever. He's like, he just tells everybody. He's like, he trusts another man of the cloth. He's like, man of the cloth, and he's like, he's pointing to the outfit.
Okay.
So you know he's Clark Kent.
Why does he trust everyone?
He doesn't. Just us, because we are also of the cloth.
Of the cloth?
I love that, because it's very like it's on brand for Nathan Fillion, but it's also on brand for Guy Gardner, right? And just everything about it. Like, I don't know, man.
Nathan Fillion, he's great at playing those characters. I mean, again, not even just this is like a perfect role for him as Guy Gardner, but he played that way in Firefly. He played Destiny, like he did the voice of Cade Six. He plays like his attitude is kind of on par with Cade Six, like this. Like he plays that character so well. I hate always saying that because it's kind of like those characters we always like Jim Carrey can be said as playing the same character in all his movies, or the one that played Ryan
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds plays the same character in all of his movies, right? Will Ferrell plays the same character, right? Like, true on some, I'll give it to you, but honestly, he's perfect for that character. Now, again, this is saying despite the film's chaotic nature, the performance of David Corn Sweat as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan, hey, I got it right, as Lois Lane, are praised as the movie's best assets, with their chemistry, portrayal of their characters being a highlight throughout the excessive elements, which is, I think, is maybe what the critics, and there's multiple critics that mentioned this specifically, that there's a lot going on, and there's a lot. If you don't know the backstories to some of these characters, you may be overwhelmed with what they can do.
And if you remember, sorry, DC guys, but when we did Marvel, we had talked about it. We actually had done a reaction, and we never ended up posting it, to the Eternals. And when you bring the Celestials into it, right? And I said the same thing before the movie released. I'm like, it's going to overwhelm people people who aren't familiar with this, you took this normal universe and now you actually took it out into the universe. And for people who don't know, it's going to be overwhelming. And in this movie, we have a massive kaiju. We obviously have Lex Luthor. We've got the Engineer. We've got Ultraman. We've got the Hammer Barovia's in there. You know, Metamorpho, he's doing some form of battling at some point and he's keeping him kind of hostage on stuff. And fuck, even Crypto's kicking his ass there for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot going on in this movie. It's not just like, oh, it's Zod or it's Lex again making a kryptonite island. You know, there's a shit ton going on in this movie.
There's a lot of people that did say Mr. Terrific was one of the highlights as well. But kind of going back to Rachel Brosnahan, because I'm glad that people are saying that she did a great job as Lois, because I feel like that is something that we haven't had in Superman. I don't, I mean, I forget the lady's name that played her in Superman Returns.
Kate Bosworth.
Like, okay, she was okay. It wasn't her fault.
She was probably my least favorite, but yeah, I think it was the writing.
Amy Adams, I love Amy Adams.
I love Amy Adams. I did not like how she played Lois.
Now, when you get into I'm just going to stick with film here, because when you get into TV, the lady that plays Lois from the recent Superman and Lois TV series, I think did a great job as Lois.
She did do a good job.
I
love Erica Durance too.
Erica Durance was okay, but she's not the traditional Lois either.
She's not.
I think if you're thinking about how Lois is portrayed in the comics, as well as how most people think of Lois, which is Margot Kidder from the Christopher Reeve iteration of Superman, that's what I'm honestly basing my performance of Lois Lane from Rachel from. And I think, that's what I'm going to when I see it. I think that's probably what most of these critics did as well. They praise both of her and David for their chemistry together. I think that was also something that was missing from the Zack Snyder kind of Lois and Clark and Lois and Superman type thing. There wasn't much. It was almost like a fling, like a summer love type thing that they had. I don't know. It didn't seem like they had much chemistry, and maybe because there wasn't a lot of ups and downs with their relationship. Whereas even in the trailers that we saw, like they're butting heads, like just like they did, like Christopher Reeve with Margot Kidder, like they butted heads a little bit. So I like that, and I think maybe that's going to add to that chemistry, because when you see them, they're don't have the same worldviews on things, clearly, and that's fine, obviously. But you see that play out. So when they do start to get this romantic relationship underway, it feels that much more realistic. The payoff feels better because of it. And I think partially, even from the trailers that we saw, we see Lois kind of running around with Mr. Terrific and flying some of his stuff, using some of his tech. So she's got a little bit more, I think, involvement, kind of like Amy Adams did a little bit in Man of Steel when she kind of went up in the spaceship. And, I think that was, yeah, go ahead.
The problem is with Amy Adams, she tracked him down, knew who he was. She gets abducted, taken him to the ship, and then they come back down and they're in love. Right, like the relationship seemed to bloom super fast. No pun intended there, but it bloomed super fucking fast, right? And then we didn't get to see any more. And when we flash back into Batman v Superman, they're already living together, and like, okay, we didn't get any build up. There was no, because we don't see him as Clark with her until the very end, and we get like a 10-second clip. So it just seemed real fast, and their relationship was an afterthought. And then, so now it doesn't make sense. Whereas in this, we see a lot of them so far in regular Lois and Clark form, where kind of like in the Lois and Clark New Adventures of Superman from 1993, that was what they focused on, was their relationship and how he deals with that being a superhero and stuff like that. And it adds a kind of a different element, different layer to the character that we didn't see in Man of Steel. again, guys, I'm not just bashing Man of Steel. I'm not saying that was a bad thing. I'm okay if they just cut Lois out and we just stick with Justice League, but we're not there yet.
True.
You know,
Yeah. And this we've been kind of talking all the good points too. This review from Ty Burr, also a critic, from his watch list. This is kind of a bad one. He says it's James Gunn's Superman is a disaster and a thundering dead end for the superhero movie genre. Argue that the film betrays the core essence of Superman, which is
I haven't gotten that yet, but
that's why I'm kind of, because literally all the other ones that are praising this, that's what they say this captures, which would be the comic book version of Superman.
well, now he also could be a Man of Steel fan.
Could be.
Like, it depends
Yeah.
what Superman you grew up with, or which one speaks most to you, right? Just because you grew up in the Man of Steel era, maybe you do love the comic books better.
And here this kind of goes on. He says, finds a new movie snarky, jokey, over-designed, overwritten, over-digitized, over everything. I think this guy is upset that James Gunn is doing the film, because James Gunn does do that. I hope, and I think we talked about this, I think the original cut of this film may have been what this guy's describing. But I think they probably toned it down and cut a lot of that out. And he says it believes every Superman film since 1978 original had failed to capture the original tone, and Gunn's latest effort is a culmination into this decline of this, superhero genre. So to me, and that's the only negative one I'd pulled up, but this guy, and again, I don't know, he's entitled to his opinion. He may just say, I would have been more inclined if he just said, yeah, I didn't like it. But I feel like he's like, again, nothing's ever going to live up to the OG. I'm with you there. Like, it is really peak Superman. It is. From beginning to end, if you want to capture what Superman is, truth, justice, the American way, which we'll come back to a little bit in a minute. Christopher Reeve does that. Yeah, we need to pray her up. Yeah, so Christopher Reeve does capture that. So I think he's got this high sky, opinion of how Superman should be, and he just didn't meet that. So,
and that's fine, guys. You're allowed to do that. If that's where you're at with it, if you are going to be stuck on Man of Steel, that's your opinion. You're allowed to do that, man. I just ask, at least for our fans watching the channel, just don't ruin it. Try to ruin it for others because you didn't like it. Just let it be and let people go see it if they want to. There doesn't need to be. I don't know why everything in this fucking world now has to be either you agree with me or I fucking hate you. It's like,
like I know.
Mantis and I don't even agree on who's our favorite Superman, right? Not that we disagree, but it says we have different ones, right? We both think each other's, the other version is great, but we have differing opinions.
Yeah. And on YouTube, there's a lot of differing opinions, which, as we said, we've kind of avoided YouTube. But I have watched some non-spoiler videos of, and these were basically clips on Twitter from YouTube. So I did have an out there. They kind of been all over the place. Some loving it, some in the middle as enjoyable, but lacking a cohesive story. And then again, some say it's complete trash. So it's kind of all over the place. And I say James Gunn didn't do it any favors before the release, because he was doing an interview earlier this week telling a journalist that Superman was an immigrant, attracting the ire of some. You guys know who we're talking about. And while David Cornsweet also happened to leave out the American way from Truth, Justice, and the American Way, which rubbed people the wrong way as well. It's not that he forgot to say it, it's that when he said Truth, Justice, and all of that stuff, he purposefully didn't say it. That one bugs me. And I don't know if it's because his bosses told him not to say that because they hate America. I don't know. Maybe it's more this movie, and you can tell as well, we're probably going to have the same opinion coming out of it. They're trying to make this Superman a Superman for the whole world and not Superman from America will spread the American way to the whole world. Maybe that's kind of the angle they're taking that. But again, here at You Mean DC, we do suggest expressing your viewpoint, good or bad. And after tomorrow, we too will have a first reaction to the film, just like you had mentioned. what we loved, what we hated, and what we thought was meh.
That's Mantis's word, not mine. I will not be saying that. I'll just tell you if I liked it or didn't like it. So, all right, guys, we don't want this to go on super, super long because I still have to actually get this video out tonight. That way I'm not putting out this video and our reaction to the movie at the same time. So if you have made it with us this far, guys, please consider giving the video a like. We gotta actually have somebody here to show you. We've been doing so many of the solo videos to do the comics. I don't have somebody there to normally point that out there, but he showed you where. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on not only all of our Superman stuff, because obviously with the movie coming out, we'll be doing that reaction. We'll still have a ton of others to go through. And we got some Fantastic Four coming out here too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Having the bells notifications, because we are doing right now, and with the movie having come out, we'll be really kind of focused a lot on the comics as well too. We're doing the whole Absolute series, the Justice League Unlimited as well. So you will get notified when we put those new episodes out. We're trying really, really hard to get the issues out as quick as possible after they actually release. But we also have full-time jobs, so it takes us a couple days to even be able to read the comic before we do the video. So
True.
have your bell notifications clicked, and you will get notified when we release the next issues. Mantis, do you have anything else?
No, guys. If you're watching this, go buy a movie ticket, go see it. Then come back, watch our review tomorrow, or not a review. I guess this would be a reaction. Come back and watch our spoiler-riddled reaction tomorrow, and leave down in the comments what you thought of the movie, because we want to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, and you can just talk up points. You don't have to be hateful, but it's whatever and all that stuff, guys. All right, so to keep this video shorter than the actual movie, that is going to wrap it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Later.